All right, so y'all get in here, get in here, get in here, get in here so that I can give y'all this hot henny that is coming straight from the courtroom right now as we speak. We are out on break right now from the day of testimony. Again, this is day 10, week 3 of the Diddy trial. Now, Capricorn Clark did take the stand, okay? Capricorn Clark took the stand. That was not her earlier today when we thought it was Capricorn, and I was like, oh, we missed her. That was not Capricorn. Child, let me tell you what has been going down in the courtroom. Y'all make sure that y'all are double tapping on that screen and keeping those likes up. Stay active and engaged. Now, Capricorn rolled in, and let me just tell you, she did not disappoint. She spoke to being kidnapped by Diddy. She spoke to having to take a lie detector test when jewelry came up missing. Same thing that we heard from one of the other assistants. Remember? They said that they had to take a lie detector test as well one time. Well, it looks like this is something that Capricorn has had to do as well. Her history with Diddy goes all the way back to 2006, ending in 2018. All right. Now, Capricorn, from my understanding, worked for Diddy 3 separate times. One time as his executive assistant. She came back again as a global executive to Sean Combs. Then she came back one more time. I'll get back to you on that one. But she did end her tenure with Bad Boy as being a creative director for Cassie. Now, let me just go ahead and let me let you know. The defense was doing what the defense does. The defense was definitely trying to put hindrances into things. So, first and foremost, before we get into Capricorn, the defense and the prosecution did have their little 1-2 back and forth that was going on when we first entered into the courtroom. But as far as the motions to strike, the government can respond by tomorrow. The judge will make a decision by Thursday as to whether or not Dr. Dawn Hughes' testimony will be taken out. And they have to respond by tonight as far as the things they want struck from the record for Kid Cudi. Now, when Capricorn Clark came in, she came in with black hair pulled back into a ponytail. She had glasses on and a white blouse, and I believe her glasses may have been red. She was very even toned, very calm, very in control of things. She served as an intern at Def Jam before she began working at Bad Boy. And she also, before she worked at Bad Boy, get this, y'all, she was signed to Death Row and was working underneath Suge Knight. So you know that means that was an issue, right? So she knows Suge Knight as being the father of one of her best friend's children. So that's how she has involvement with Suge Knight. I'm telling y'all that because that part is important. Make sure that y'all are double tapping that screen. Now, she says that she began to work for Bad Boy and that she first met Puff in 2002 and that they were just like platonic friends. There was nothing going on there. And then in 2004, how she ended up getting her job at Bad Boy is because a headhunter sent her, thought that would be a good match for her and sent her over. So that's how she started working there. She was his executive assistant at that time and she shadowed him from the time she woke up until the time he told her stop. When I tell you that the slavery, the labor that these assistants have all already testified to, and she is now testifying to as well, working grueling hours, only getting 2 to 4 hours of sleep. But she was with him from the time he woke up to the time he said stop, okay? Now, as the personal assistant on the first day of the job, she says that Diddy took her along with Uncle Paulie, because Uncle Paulie is coming up again, you guys. Uncle Paulie is all up and through this once again. She says that Diddy took her along with Uncle Paulie, his security, at 9 p.m. to Central Park. Now, if you've ever been in Central Park at night, it is not the beautiful, picturesque park that you see during the day. Central Park at night is not the place that you want to be. And they were there, and she said it was around 9 p.m. in the evening. And Diddy said to Capricorn, he didn't know she had anything to do with Suge Knight, and that if anything happened, he would unalive her. Now, of course, you know that the defense objected to that. But it was already out there. We already heard it. We've already noted it. So there goes threat number one that came. Okay. Then she goes on to say that Diddy's demeanor was calm and that she took the threat very serious. Um, but she wasn't sure of any possible issues that were there. Uncle Paulie said absolutely nothing while this was going on. He just stood there and he was looking statuesque. So he didn't do a damn thing while this threat was being made to her. Okay. So Uncle Paulie at this time was part of, like, he was over Roger Bonds and D Rock. All right. Ruben, which is another security guard you're going to hear about, is D Rock's brother. Now, let me tell you something. Aside from this little incident, because I'm not going to get all the way into all of the details right now. I'm going to give you as many details as I can, and then we're going to break this down later on when we get in the house, because you know that is what we do. So she confirmed the identities of all of the security guards, of D-Rock, of Roger Bonds, of Ruben, of Uncle Paulie. So we now all have a picture to put to those faces. Hopefully that will be released by the press later on today, and I will be able to get those pictures up on thumbnail so you guys can see who they are as well. But as time went on, she talked about how there was the bag of jewelry. This jewelry was on loan for her. It was 3 pieces of jewelry from Jacob the jeweler. There was a diamond bracelet, a diamond necklace, and a diamond watch. And all 3 of those items went missing. Now, Diddy had given them to her to hold as they were on their way to Miami, but she reported to him that the items were missing. And once she did that, the car she was in, she told them to stop the car, okay? And then called up to Bad Boy and told them, lock the building down and search everybody. Well, the search of everyone in the building yielded no results. So what ended up ultimately happening was she ended up being questioned by Uncle Paulie. Now, she was taken home by Paulie, and the next day she says she was picked up by him. She was then taken to what would later become the new headquarters for Bad Boy and Sean John. But at the time, that building was nothing but like dilapidated on the inside. It was like caught between people moving in and moving out of the building. The floors weren't finished. It was very like, it gave a very abandoned building type of vibe, the way that she was describing it. But Paulie took her to this building, and she said once they were on the inside of the building, they locked the door from the outside. So there was no way for you to get out. She was then taken upstairs to the sixth floor of the building, where she described him as big as 2 linebackers. A man as big as 2 linebackers was in a room with a folding table and 6 chairs in there. Now, what was she doing in that room? This is where Capricorn said she was held for 5 days, doing a lie detector test, being questioned extensively about the jewelry, what she did with it. Did she set up a robbery for the jewelry? Did she have anything to do with it? And on the first day, she said that it came back inconclusive, and that the guy told her that if she did not pass this test, she was going to end up in the East River. So he's telling her to calm down so that they could get a clean testing. And she's like trying to calm down. But how do you calm down when somebody keeps reminding you that if you fail this test, you're going into the East River? So the whole workday, she was in there the whole day being questioned, being grilled. And she did this for 5 consecutive days. Now, during this time, she said Diddy never called her. As far as she knows, he never asked about her. But she was in that building with that man and Uncle Paulie for 5 days. When she returned to work, Diddy never asked her where she was. Diddy never brought up those 5 days. She doesn't know if the jewelry was ever found or not. It was just a situation that kept on moving. Now, that was just one incident. Um, let's see. That we've already talked about that. Diddy never asked her where she was. She had to perform a variety of tasks, and if she failed, she would be fired. So there was a constant pressure. There was a fear. There was pressure. There was intimidation. Um, I already told y'all she slept anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, 4 hours on a good night, 2 hours on a bad night, because she was up and running with Diddy. Now, she says during this time, she only made $65,000, but she was working hella overtime. She was working beyond the normal 8 hours a day that a normal person would be working in a shift. So she says she sat down with HR, and they calculated her hours, and it came out to be that she was owed $83,000 per 3 month period, right? Diddy, when he was submitted with this paperwork, according to Capricorn, he ripped up the paper and she never received the proper compensation for her pay. Okay. So she was just really working underneath slave type of driven environment. It was terrible. Now, Diddy stayed at hotels once a week with Kim Porter at the time, because remember, this is going back to the days when Kim was still alive. And he would be at the hotel with Kim, and she would pack up and unpack his hotel bags. Now, what was in the hotel bags when Capricorn was packing and unpacking Diddy's bags? Well, it consisted of the infamous medicine bag, okay, which was a black Louis Vuitton bag. It also consisted of a silver casing, which was three camcorders, like 3 point and shoot camcorders, and one handheld. Now, there was also the usual clothes and shoes and things of that nature, but 3 point and shoot camcorders. And she puts Kim, listen, she puts Kim in the hotel rooms with Diddy too. She puts Kim in the hotel room. She also said inside of that camera case, aside from the cameras, was also a small bottle of baby oil and a bottle of lube. Yes. She also said that when she would go clean up the hotel rooms, that there would be baby oil everywhere. So we're hearing about baby oil everywhere. She said that there was one time a handprint on a suede wall that was baby oil. It was a baby oil handprint on the wall. So now this is leading me to question what exactly is going on when it comes down to Diddy and Kim. Was this going on when Kim was around? Was Kim doing what was it? What was happening? Because the implication is that Kim and him were doing some things in them hotel rooms. Okay. Now, inside of the Louis Vuitton bag at the time, the only thing that she was testifying to was the fact that there was there was mostly his rug of choice at the time was pills. There were prescription drugs. She also testified to the fact, just like James, the assistant James, that Diddy would sometimes get prescription drugs in her name. So this seems to be a pattern that he's having of getting these prescription drugs in his assistants' names, because he had maxed out on how many opioids he could get for the year. So yeah. Um let's see what else. She talked about how Diddy and Cassie were getting IV drips when she had come back, because she had left and come back. But she said at this time he was doing IV drips with Cassie. His drug use had increased. Now, she said she spoke to one time when she was in the Beverly Hills home, Diddy's Beverly Hills home, and it was her and Laura London, and Chef Jordan, I guess, was the one that was there. She just said the head chef, but we don't know of any other chef except for Chef Jordan at this point. But she said that they were having a conversation, and Diddy was asking them why they didn't have a man. And he called Cassie into the room, and get this, y'all. He told Cassie, come here, sit here, do this, do that, go over here, go over there. And after he finished barking out all of these commands to her, he told her, go in the other room. Then turned to Lauren London and Capricorn and says to them, see, that's why you issues don't have no men, because he couldn't order them around. Anyway, I'm not even going to pay you any mind, any Kim Hall, because clearly you're warped. Anyway, um, Capricorn saw Diddy take Molly as well, and and she said that he was taking them once a week at first, but then they started taking it, started increasing. Okay, started increasing it, and he also took the prescription pain meds. They showed They showed a picture of the bag. So the bag was confirmed. All right. Diddy asked Capricorn to get him no more than 10 times. So once again, we're hearing about him sending out assistants to go and pick up his rugs of choice. So we heard this already from Kaplan, who testified that he had gone and picked up, from One Stop. And One Stop is another name that is coming up again. But Capricorn introduced, thank you for the gift. Capricorn introduced another dealer into play and said that when Diddy was here in New York City, that a girlfriend would deal him the rugs. So One Stop is in California, y'all. Okay. So once again, One Stop is coming up. Once again, One Stop is coming up. And they showed a picture of One Stop and she confirmed his identity as well. Yeah. So the P always stood for Pill Daddy. Listen, you said it. I didn't say it. I just read the comment. Okay. You said it. I repeated it. Now, she did testify to seeing Diddy with large sums of money. Like one time she talked about how he had 100K in euro, how she would count it out and give it to him. He would give it to security and then it would be put in his safe. So he is known for carrying large sums of money at times. She observed Diddy fighting with people during her tenure there with Big Bad Boy. She saw him fight with Uncle Paulie one time, which remember that's security. Um, and she said, and she saw him fight with his barber. She also said that he would hit people with phones and that happened often. Whenever he would get mad, he would hit somebody with a phone. So abuse of the employees is being testified to. It was a lot of information that was coming in. But now she says that there was one time in 2006 when she was at Two-Star Island with Diddy. Thank you for the sticker. And he told Capricorn that while she was there, she couldn't leave and go nowhere. Well, Pharrell's manager ended up coming up via the dock and having a conversation with him. And he sent her on a mission. She ended up staying an hour longer than she should. And he ended up calling her, asking her, "Where the F are you?" And so she got back to the house. And he says to her, "That's your problem. You want to have a life, and that ain't going to happen." So, yeah, he told her, "I told you, you ain't leaving this house." So holding her captive there, that's anytime you hold somebody against their will, that is considered kidnapping, guys. Anytime you do that, that is considered kidnapping. So I don't know if that's where the prosecution is going with this or not, but it's interesting to hear all the different takes that all the different things that are coming out of Capricorn's mouth. Capricorn said she told the chef that she hated it there. Like the next morning, she got up, she went downstairs to go get breakfast. She asked the chef for turkey bacon. The chef says there's no more turkey bacon, but like the chef was, irritated because they had just had a big event. So she asked for the turkey bacon. The chef says they're out of it. She turns around and says, "I hate it here." You know what the chef does? The chef goes and snitches on Capricorn and tells Diddy that she said she hated it here. Now, guess what Diddy did next? Diddy came full throttle, pushing and shoving on Capricorn, shoving her all the way out of the house. It was just a mess, okay? It was a mess. It was just a mess. So he pushed her all the way out of the house, y'all. So it's just been she's testified to seeing Diddy the night that he went to Kid Cudi's house. Okay, when he went to go over there to Kid Cudi's house, he was over there and he went over there to Capricorn's house. Let me back up. Capricorn said the phone that she had and the phone that Cassie had were bad boy phones, which means that Diddy can see their phone records. So Capricorn says she took Cassie to Best Buy to go buy her a burner phone. Thank you for the super chat, Mango Gelato. So So what happened was she got her a burner phone because she's like, "Girl, whatever you doing, huh?" Amazon. Um, what happened was she was like, "Girl, you better get a burner. She gonna get you a burner phone because you're gonna get all of us killed. You're gonna get us unalived." talking to me on this phone about Kid Cudi. Now she had brought Kid Cudi around and all of that. So Capricorn knew about Cudi and she was trying to make sure that Cassie stayed under the radar with it, like telling her to delete text messages and everything. Anyway, child. So what ended up happening is Diddy, he was out of town when Cassie was starting all of this foolery with Kid Cudi, this relationship. So when Diddy came back in town and he found out about it, he was livid. He was livid. He went over there to um, Capricorn's house, went and got it. She said she heard metal on metal banging at the door. Dun, 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 dun. She had no idea who it was. So she goes to the peephole. She looks through the peephole and she sees Diddy out there and he's pacing back and forth. She said he seems agitated and it looked like he had something in his hand. Well, guess what? When she opened the door, Diddy had a in his hand. Okay. Told was mad at her, like, why you ain't tell me? Told her to get dressed. She said she didn't want to go. He was like, I don't give about none of that. Okay. With the pow pow, pum pum in his hand. So she goes in the back and decides that she's going to go get dressed. And he puts the pew pew in his waist. But then they end up going downstairs into the car and he's keeping the pew pew in his lap the whole time. They end up going to Cuddy's house. She stays in the car. He goes over there, him, and now we know who the associate was. And remember, I was saying security. Your girl was right. Your girl was right. It was security. It was security because it was Ruben that went over there with Diddy. And once they entered into Cuddy's home, she called Cassie on that burner phone and was like, girl, they are in the house. That is not exactly what she said. I'm paraphrasing, but that's how it went down. Girl, they are at Cuddy's house. They're going to unalive him. You done got us in some ish. So now Diddy sees that Capricorn was on the phone, and Capricorn said she changed the contact number in the phone from being Cassie's backup to her friend Stormy. So that way, if anybody saw anything, it would just say Stormy. Well, Diddy wasn't buying it because when he got back to the car, he was like, who are you on the phone with? Who was you on the phone with? So he snatches her phone and hits dial to the last person, and it's Cassie. Oh, he hits the roof. Now, the only thing is, she says that while they were leaving, that Cuddy and Diddy kind of like passed one another, and he took off. He's in a Porsche, so he's hauling ass up the hill, up the mountain to get back to his house, right? And Diddy and them are trying to keep up with him, but then they heard sirens. She said once Diddy heard the sirens, he began to calm down. And that had been the calmest that she had seen him the whole entire time, right? Um, but he ends up having Capricorn call Cassie and tell her, like, look, he's got me and he's not letting me go until you come back. So Cassie says, come and get me. And Capricorn goes to go get her. But Diddy tells Capricorn to go over there and tell Cuddy not to press charges or else everybody is going to be unalived. So Capricorn goes and picks up Cassie from the Sunset Marquee, gets her. They go to Cuddy's house and try to convince him not to name Diddy as the person who broke into his home and all of that stuff. When they get back to the house, Capricorn speaks to how Kid Cudi, I mean, not Kid Cudi, Diddy. Diddy had on a robe and boxers, okay? As soon as he saw Cassie, he just started kicking her. He never punched her, he just kept kicking her. And the more he kicked her, the more she kind of like tried to retract. Like she said he kicked her so bad and he kicked her so much, kicked her all the way out to the street. By the time she got to the street, Cassie was curled up in a complete fetal position, okay? Capricorn, at this point in her testimony, she's emotional. Okay. Her voice is quivering. She's cracking. She's wiping her face. She's crying. Okay. She's reliving this moment. She says how she tried to tell Ruben to stop him because Diddy told her, if you jump in, I'm going to kill you. No, he said, if you jump in, I'm going to F you up. So she figured, I'm not going to jump in. Let me get security. She's like, Ruben, get him. Stop him. Help her. Ruben does nothing. So she calls D-Rock and she tells D-Rock, tell Ruben, because Ruben's D-Rock's little brother. Tell him to stop. Tell him to help Cassie. Tell him to stop beating on her. She says, after a minute, D-Rock says he will. After she saw that Ruben wasn't getting on the phone, she said, bump this. She calls Uncle Paulie and she's telling Uncle Paulie what's going on. And she's telling Uncle Paulie, please help her. Just make him stop. Paulie says he got it, but no one ever stopped it. No security ever got involved. No security ever stopped what was happening or came to Cassie's rescue. So Diddy told Capricorn after she made all of them calls to get the out. So she said as she was leaving, she could hear the beating still happening. She could turn around and she could still see Cassie on the ground being kicked and stomped. She said she called Cassie's mom and was just like, listen, you have to call the police. I can't call the police, but you can call the police. And she just, as she's going around the bend, that's all she was hearing. That's all she was hearing. Emotional, emotional testimony. But I'm gonna stop there for now, you guys, because I'm gonna get back up into the courtroom because we stopped and we're on a break, and now she's getting ready to face the defense. So when I come back, I will have the information for you guys of how things went down with the defense. But yeah, this was very powerful testimony from Capricorn. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the stickers. I know, Coley. I know. Who burned the car? We have not gotten to that. So I'm about to go upstairs and I'm about to go listen to what the prosecution has to say, because that is the thing that they were arguing about this morning. Remember, I told you guys about that? I told y'all that was going to be a topic of conversation about bringing up the DNA and the fingerprints with the LAFD officer, arson investigator. Yeah, so that's what we're getting ready to go upstairs and go get. In the meantime and in between time, thank y'all for tapping in, tuning in, giving you this quick update. Make sure that y'all are double tapping. And if you are new here, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace, everybody.